Let's see. Okay, I'm live. It is 4:06 p.m. on Friday, September 22nd. Let me turn that fan off. Okay. And here we are in Starfield. I'm the Resolute Cartographer. I realized I didn't say that. I'm going to stream a little bit early this week, and, well, we'll just see where things go from here. So I've now released 2 lore videos for Starfield. In the meantime, I've also still been releasing my videos for Fallout. That's the way I see things going forward. In Starfield, I've so far released a lore video on the ECS Constant. Yes, God bless America and God bless the United Colonies. I've now released my lore video on the ECS Constant and my lore video on the mission Ground Pounder, which takes place in the Altair system. Currently, I am in the Vega system. If you're not aware, I'm glad you liked the lore video. Hey, Jim Jam. So, if you haven't seen on Twitter, I've been posting basically summaries of surveys I've done on all these systems. So basically everything on from here over. Actually, no, from here over, I have to the left. From there over to the left, I have surveyed. Vega is the last one in that section, and if you're interested, you can go find that stuff. It lists all the resources, both mineral resources and the animal resources as well. So that can be a very helpful thing, I would think. Specifically on this, yes, specifically on this, I'm going to mention a planet out here in the Carinae system. I don't know if that's how you probably pronounce it. Probably there's some weird Latin pronunciation where I'm doing it wrong. Carinae 3A has the material. Let's click on the planet so I can hover over it. Rothosite. This is a unique inorganic mineral. This is something I am currently mining here on this planet. I believe it's used for high-level mods and stuff like that for weapons. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, that's where you can find it. Every time I find something specific like that, I'm going to make sure I mention it. Like a bunch of people were asking, where can I find adhesive that you can farm at the very least? If you go to the Alpha Centauri system, the planet Gagarin has a cactus on it that produces adhesive if you grow it in an outpost. So that's a very useful thing right there. Lure tour of King Kai's planet. I'm not familiar with that. So let's see what to say about these systems. I mean, some of them have a huge number of planets, some of them don't have many. I've found that it is fairly abnormal to find a system with a planet without a planet that has any life on it. That's not to say that you're looking at like big lush jungle planet in every system. For example, also Bessel, for example, has no life in it. If we go here, you can see there's a single gas giant and a couple of dead rocks. And this one, Bessel 3B, which even looks like it might have... Okay, yeah. I'm one of those weird people that never watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid. But yeah, Bessel 3B, it has water. It has a good array of minerals on it, but it does not have life. So, I don't know what to say about that other than that. But for example, there are systems where, if we go to Beta Andraste, for example, you can see here that Beta Andraste Alpha, Beta Andraste 1A, does have life on it, but it's only a couple of animal species, which is very weird. Now, that's not to say that there aren't any plants, because you don't scan every plant. That's one of the big differences between exploring in No Man's Sky versus exploring in Starfield. Exploring in No Man's Sky, you scan everything. In Starfield, it is specific plants within the environment. And so while there are plants on Beta Andraste 1A, there are no plants that anything can actually, well, that you can scan. So in exploring Vega, which I just got to this system, I did take a quick look at the planets to see what we had available here. And there is one planet here that has some life on it, and I figured I'd go and check it out. We could at least see what kind of life we've got living down here. It looks like it potentially has a breathable atmosphere with that standard O2 atmosphere. Why don't we take a look? So I've been avoiding the main quest up to this point, but at some point I know I'm going to have to actually get into it, especially because I keep seeing more and more spoilers on Twitter, and I feel like I need to experience it before it gets completely spoiled for me. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, the game's been out for like 3 weeks now, so I'm going to expect there to be more things like that. Let's see, is there any oceans here? No oceans, okay. I was going to land on a coast if there were oceans. In this case, I'll land in this plateau here. Actually, well, I could have scanned it and seen where there were some minerals to find. I did get to level 50. Now, I don't have any achievements for that kind of stuff because whenever I film, I have to use console commands. And that completely just obliterates your ability to get achievements. Not that big a deal, but it is slightly annoying because it like has me basically locked out as soon as I modified my ship for the first time. Alright. Oh, looks like there's a storm going on. I've not been to the planet Nisol. Or Niso. No. Okay, let's see. Nickel? Some sort of... Let's, actually, this one's closer. 500 meters away. Let's go see what this is. If you haven't seen the scanning system, I know, Jim Jam, you said you wanted to avoid spoilers. I don't know if you've played it or not, but this is the scanning system. Like I said, you can see there all these plants here you cannot scan, but that said, there are some plants you can scan, such as this Titan Coleus. Yeah, that'd be nice. Green, okay. Green savanna planet. I'll have to look into that. I've heard that there's a purple planet, where it's just like purple sand as far as the eye can see. Which I would assume that's made up of amethyst or something like that. I don't know how else you would get that sort of coloring. Let's see. I haven't seen any fauna yet. That's interesting. Frostbite, okay. What is the temperature actually? Negative 37 degrees. Sweetwater cactus. Okay, this is though definitely something I want to investigate more because the sweetwater cactus is the plant that I found that has adhesive growing on Gagarin. But here, it has structural. So this is something I want to investigate with some other folks that have Starfield to see exactly how the procedural generation works. Because I want to know if... Whoa. Okay. I thought this was a spider. I was like, why am I not able to scan this giant spider? But no, it's like a giant ball of fungus spores next to a set of roots. Grimace Shake 42. But yeah, so the Sweetwater Cactus, again, I want to see if anybody else comes across... Because I've found multiple plants across multiple planets that have different resources on them depending on the planet. So I want to figure out if that's the standard thing it is. And I want to know if that Sweetwater Cactus that I found in Gagarin having adhesive is what everyone else finds there. Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Don't rush the scan. Wouldn't want to overlook anything valuable.
Okay, exposed root system. This is one of the ruderal plant masses from which the local vegetation is derived. Interesting. Okay, we got some animals over here. Looks like one of them is dead. Pack crocodont. I've seen crocodonts before. And that's the other thing too, is I don't know if this is supposed to be like, if this is supposed to be a lore thing, that crocodonts exist on multiple planets. Did like people drop them off on multiple planets? Or is it just simply the case that there's over 1,000 planets and they had to populate them with these things? And so some of them are going to have the same name. And for example, Alpha Andraste, let's go back to the map. Alpha Andraste has a planet here. I'll have to find this planet, Niso. Let's see. Alpha Andraste 3. Alpha Andraste 3 has a creature on it that's the... It's like... something bear. I can't remember the name of it exactly. But it looks exactly like the Ashta, which can be found on Alpha Centauri, on Jemison. Is it Jemison? No, it's not Jemison. The Ashta is found in Cheyenne on Aquila. Space Deathclaw. I don't know. I feel like I've seen something like that, but I have personally not experienced the Space Deathclaw. If you're talking about the Terramorphs, that would be what I would equate with a Deathclaw in terms of like the danger involved. And And terramorphs you can find on many planets. I specifically have found them... Let's see. Well, obviously on Ptolemy 2, which a lot of folks... At least it seems that the local lore in the game is that Ptolemy 2 is thought to have been their birthplace. Now, I know that there's more lore about the terramorphs that I have not yet learned, but yesterday when I was in Valo, when I was surveying the Valo system, I was on Valo 1 Polvo, and I found not a death claw. I found a terramorph. In fact, one second, let me see if I think I got that video somewhere here. Can share this with you real quick, so you can at least see what I'm talking about here. Did I even? I don't think I even named it. I think I just took the footage. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, and again, this doesn't have sound because of the way I record it. You know, I would have to put it into the video processing software. I found these spacers out here. I heard gunfire, so I went to go investigate, and I found this terramorph fighting these this handful of spacers out here on Polvo. Again, there's a lore that says that they're on every human world. Again, I'm so not into the lore yet that I don't know specifically why that's the case. I'm sure that there's a reason why you can find them on human worlds. But yeah, that's again, and I fought. This is one of my favorite guns at the moment. Let me pull it up for you real quick. It's a gun you get from your parents if you have the have parents trait. It's yeah, I was actually currently have it equipped. Sir Livingston's pistol. Let me see. There we go. Okay, sorry, I had to put something down there. Sir Livingston pistol. This was the originally a pistol that was owned by the first head of Constellation. And so it's just like a normal gun. But it's actually, it does pretty good damage. I'll say that. Yeah, Polvo by Ralph Lauren. I was thinking more so, it's not Spanish for chicken, but that's what I was thinking. Pollo is Spanish for chicken, but that was, I think I was thinking powder, maybe? Isn't polvo powder in Spanish or something like that? I don't know. What the? Oh, okay. Like I said, it's not a bad gun. Oh man, look at that tongue. Look at those eyes. It's got 6 eyes. 2 sets on each side. It's got a duck bill. Interesting creature. Yeah, it's kind of like having a flintlock. Oh, it looks like it has, yeah, vital fluids that have pigment and toxin in them. Which, I have not scanned enough of them to know which one it's supposed to be giving me. So, yeah. El Pollo Hermanos. Or Los Pollos Hermanos, or whatever it is. Okay, so my goal currently has been to continue to scan the systems, and as I do so, I continue to find new little stories in the lore. I have not found that many out here in the western end of these systems, but there is all of this left to go. So there's a lot more to look into, and along with that, again, I haven't done almost any of the faction quests. I haven't done specifically quests that come from the cities and stuff like that. I have been surveying systems. So I do have a story I'm going to be telling about the Tau Ceti system, and then there's also the story that's set in the Narian system. The Xeno Warfare story that was based in the Colony War, which the Colony War, like, I mean, we got to see how they do with the Fallout television show, but if they do a show for Starfield, I want it to be set in the Colony War. I want to see the battles between the alien, like the alien monsters like this, and the giant mechs. I want to see that battle. I want to see the Battle of Partic Pass. Let's see, what do we have over here? Wait, did I scan that thing? I don't think... I think I may have. Flocking Sloth Grazer. There's obvious ways that they generated the names of these things. Flocking, for example. Grazer. And then there's like just a general animal name that they attach to it as well. Pack is another one. Pack Crocodont. I'm trying to decide exactly what to do with all of the information I'm collecting. Oh. On these planets in terms of all the resource information I'm getting. Seriously, I'm telling you, this gun is great. Because as I have it, it's useful, but think I could make it more useful. And by that I mean, like, I think I could take the information I have, basically create a small, really simple program, turn these planets into objects, and then make them searchable by resource. And so I think that would be a pretty interesting thing to do. Now, the question of whether or not I actually get around to doing that is another thing. Is this a little bird? Hey! I've never seen anything quite like that. Nautilus Scavenger. Scavenger is a suffix I've seen before, but not Nautilus. I don't think, at least. Starfield executive producer Jar Jar Abrams. I do like that nickname for him. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay, other things to know. Hazards. If you're, I may have gone over this last time. Specific biomes will have specific hazards. Along with that, there are storm hazards, and then along with that, there is extreme solar radiation. You get extreme solar radiation when you land on a planet that has a weak magnetosphere, and you land on the day side of the planet. So weak or no magnetosphere, you're going to get solar radiation. The one thing I will say is I kind of wish that there was a more complex system to the radiation, because at least from my own knowledge, I believe Jupiter gives off a bunch of radiation, kind of bathes its moons in radiation, and so it's one of those things where it's like I'd love to like have it be the case where it's like you find these moons that are made radioactive by their gas giant. Good lord, I walk over these vents so many times. Let me go ahead and cure myself of that real quick. The one thing I will say, I would love to see a what's it called? Life improve. I can't remember what the heck it's called. I want to see basically the ability to like click on the frostbite and be like, apply this medication that's specific to it, because I know what medication it is because I've had to apply it 1,000 times. I go in here and go heal paste. There we go. Got rid of that. But I mean, if you don't know that, you're not going to know how to do that. And then again, it would also just make it much more simple if you were able to just click on the one thing that you have a cure for and actually use it. Again, I've tweeted about this. I don't know if anybody else has this issue. I always have this incoming weather debuff. I don't know if anybody else has this, but even when I'm on like Jemison in New Atlantis, or if I'm in my spaceship, I always have the incoming weather warning. My guess is I triggered that somehow, messing with the console commands accidentally. I don't know, but I haven't done anything like that specifically. And not only that, but anytime I use console commands to give myself a perk or anything like that, I always go back and reverse it, or I go back to a previous save. So, I don't know. Maybe it's from some time when I gave myself a perk and reversed it and not started a new one. Yeah. Gotta go to the moon to meet Tim Curry and his Soviet Space Force. Man. I really do wish more game companies would do live-action cutscenes. That was such a great thing back in the day. Watching Kane come walking out. Let's see. Alright, well, I'll finish surveying Vega later. This planet in Vega later, because there's more to scan. But let's see. I did hear something interesting. Which this, let's see, so where is it? There's a system I'm looking for specifically that I heard about. There it is. So I heard that the Schrodinger system has another ARC ship in it. Now, and okay, so real quick, I'm going to go over some of the notes that I've gotten on the ECS Constant video. So, specifically, people say that the ship moves after you finish the quest. I haven't seen that happen yet. In fact, why don't we take a quick look at the map? Maybe it's moved since I said that. Let's go over to the Porma system. Still shows the ECS and Constant, and I went there either earlier this morning or yesterday morning. Because somebody said there's a Nernroot in the ship. There's not Nernroot in the ship. At least not in my opinion. In fact, we can... Let me go ahead and save, and we can take a look at it real quick. Let's go ahead and load. And this is stuff I'm going to address in an addendum video to that video that I've already produced. But where is it? There we go. ECS constant. Let me also say thank you to the folks who have watched my ECS constant lore video. It is easily my biggest video that I've ever produced at this point, and it's been out for 2 weeks now, which is pretty great. It literally has the most views of any video I've ever produced, and that's, again, after 2 weeks. It's now at 52,000 views, which is pretty great. That's my first real successful video. Okay, so people say that the ship has Nirnroot on it. So I did a quick search around the entire ship because I was thinking, how great would that be if there was actually an Easter egg linking this game to the Elder Scrolls series? And looking for it in like hydroponics would be a potential place to find it. My guess would be that if there was really going to be a Nirnroot in the game, it would be like in a potted plant, like in a pot somewhere. Let's walk around real quick and let's go find. There is actually, I don't know if there are any here in medical. If we go to the residential section, I'm sure we'll find some potted plants. I've never played the Resident Evil games. I know that, again, that and not having watched Dragon Ball Z, I'm sure makes me an outcast in this community, but I've never played them before. Okay, so not those. Where do we have these things?
It definitely takes us to some kind of person. Their entire life, birth to death.
I know I've seen them in here because I literally ran around the ship. There we go. Okay, so if we find these things here, you can see that there are plants around the ship. They're called succulents. That's a type of plant, obviously, in real life. Prototype equipment. Interesting looking. Regardless, that shouldn't be here. I'll get to that in a minute. There are many types of these succulents you can find in the game. And basically, if I was going to expect to find a Easter egg version of like Nirnroot in the game, I would expect to find it in like a potted plant like that. It'd be like succulent and like quotes or something like that. But this is what people are saying is Nirnroot. This right here.
May bring happy surprises.
I gotta get a gun with a proper scope on it. Do I have any guns that have proper scopes on them? This might work. There we go. I can't even zoom with this. Yeah, I know it does. So people are saying this is Nirnroot. Now, I disagree, mainly because it's everywhere throughout this area. There's like every fourth plant. I don't see dropping in Easter eggs like that. I think what this is some sort of food crop they're growing here. I don't know specifically what. Dandelions is kind of what it looks like. But I mean, Nirnroot, to me, it does have a Nirnroot-like shape to its leaf, but at the same time, Nirnroot doesn't have that many blades coming off of the plant, so I don't think that's what that is. Okay, so let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, so people say that if you come on board the ship with the tardigrade costume, then you get some interesting interactions there. So I'm definitely going to look into that. If you don't know the tardigrade costume, and I only know this because I've seen it mentioned on Twitter, the tardigrade costume comes from Titan. Why don't we go to Titan? The water bears, if you're unaware of the other term for them, the actual scientific term for them. New Homestead is where you find the tardigrade costume. At least that's what I've seen. Again, yeah, the Schrodinger system arc. And one complaint that a lot of people have had that I absolutely agree with on 100% is that Bethesda screwed up to a certain extent with the junk that they left lying around in this ship. And it's stuff that they do a lot of places, where you'll like go into a dungeon and you'll open up a lunchbox and it's like, hey, fresh food. This place hasn't been accessed in 30 years. And so let's see if there's anything here specifically. I don't see anything here, but let's keep looking around. Basically, stuff that's here that should not be here. For example, that prototype equipment probably shouldn't be here. I've heard people say that there are like desk eggs, they have little assistants that you can find throughout the rest of the world. Those things should not be here, and if they are here, again, I haven't specifically looked for them up to this point, but I have seen some things that don't seem quite right. Specifically, more so, it's the tile set for this area, which I understand completely that they didn't want to make a full tile set for this section, but I do think it's kind of a missed opportunity. I don't see these egg assistants. Let's keep taking a look around. Again, I can't take what people say online to heart every time. And it's looking right now like maybe I shouldn't have taken that heart. There are a few things here like, no, that stuff's fine. Okay, well, here's one example. This portable desk fan looks exactly like ones you find everywhere out throughout the game. And again, there's one of those things where, like, I get that they don't want to create a whole bunch of special items for this one mission, but, I mean, if they had created that tile set, they could have created, like, old ships, old derelicts that you find that have this stuff on board them. Anything else in here? I don't know. That's just the main thing for me, is that it would have been cool if they had created another tile set for this. Like, there is some stuff that I do think they created specifically for this stuff. They created the antique piggy banks, the baseballs, the basketballs, I think. Well, on a mission to find a cowboy hat? I found a cowboy hat, just as a random piece of loot. But, let's see. So it's looking right now like maybe I don't trust people when they say that they found those desk assistant eggs. But again, I'll keep taking a look around here. Nope, there you go. There's one. This should not be here. This does not make any sense for this to be here. This is a piece of technology you find throughout the rest of the system. Unless this is like... The thing about this is that you have to assume that someone produced this prototype 190 years ago, and they have not modified it since that time. I don't know of any tech that's like that. At least nothing that's like widely used. And again, there's another one right there. This is the kind of stuff where it would have been cool if they had thought, maybe we shouldn't have included that in these areas where they shouldn't be, because, again, this ship has been out of contact with the rest of humanity for 190 years. Okay. Other notes here. Okay. This one kind of annoys me a little bit. Because I think it's like a blatant... I don't think people are doing it intentionally, but I feel like you have to really, really want to hate the story to take this away from it. So, and I get that a lot of people don't like that there are... Okay, let's take this other option, this other problem people have with it first. There's not enough options for what to do with this ship. I agree with that. I think that they should have at least added one option where you could find a way to turn over Porama 2 to the ECS Constant. And I think you could do this specific way. There is definitely a story to this ship. There is a way to... I think there would be a way to turn this, turn Porama 2 over to the ECS Constant, in that you could basically... They've got their original charter saying that they own the planet. Okay? Now, she says that she believes that it wasn't taken seriously when they filed it in the first place, and that it's probably been lost in that time. Digipix, probably another thing they shouldn't have. But regardless, it could be a case that you go that... so the scenario that I had was you go down to the colony, you find a board member for the Paradiso colony that wants to take over the colony. He doesn't like Oliver Campbell. He wants to run the place himself. And so he points you to a corrupt judge that is willing to take that charter and turn the planet Porama 2 over to the ECS Constant, so long as there's this backroom deal that you've also made with this board member where they get control of the Paradiso colony and a modicum of independence from the ECS Constant when the ECS Constant crew takes over the planet Porama 2. I feel like that would be a way to hand the planet over to these colonists that would also show us more of the judicial system of this universe, so we could take a look at seeing the actual judicial system of the United Colonies or the Freestar Collective. Low-level systems with common individual hostile ships. Individual? No. One thing I will show you. Let's see. Can I don't think I can fast travel from here. In fact, this is an old save anyway. I don't want to go from that. Why don't I go back to Vega 2, and I'll show you something interesting that I did find. I think there's a story to it, but I have not found anything else on it yet, so I can't say any more about it other than what I'll show you. I found, I think it was like a derelict Titan or something like that. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to leave Vega 2C behind and head to... What system was it? I have a video specifically for it. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. That's not it. I've been trying to film whenever I come in contact with interesting, what's it called? Random groups that you find, or random individuals you find. So I've got a video of meeting Grandma. I've got a video of meeting the Valentine, I think is what he's called. Mrs. Whitmore, who's a teacher who's stranded with her class. Man, where did I put this footage? Ah, there it is. Okay, Barnard Star. Let's see here. That'd be cool. I've never done any voice acting before. Let's see here. Barnard Star. Let's see if it's still there. Okay, yeah. Nope. Sensor contact. Let's take a look. Going to the orbit of Frost in Barnard Star system.
For you.
Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. No, never mind. This is something else. Okay, so that one's definitely... that teaches me something new about the way things spawn. So, I can bring up the footage of it real quick, just so you know what I'm talking about here. So, I found a derelict Atlas in orbit around Frost. So, this is me docking with a ship. And again, soundless. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I saved, I guess. 1 second. Oh, all right, that's right. I loaded because I wanted to actually show the ship. So here we go. Derelict Atlas. You can see that the lasers, ballistics, engine, shielding, and grav drive are all offline. I then docked with the ship. And on board... I found alarms going off. I found dead people all over the place. I found like this slate. Which, by the way, I'm interested in knowing what exactly these slates are, because they seem to be like a combination holotape note, but it's weird. Like I don't, there's definitely no real analog for it in our time. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, back that up slightly. I don't know why they came after us, but they did. They had no idea what they were looking for. They just knew there was something here. So I did what you told me and made sure they never found it. Unfortunately, they disabled our grab drive and pretty much everything else. So I guess we'll be floating out here forever. But hey, at least I kept it safe. Hey, Night Spearhead. Good to see you. So, again, I looted the ship's cargo hold. I didn't find anything specific on this ship. I just looked around. I also found this. Can't say I'm too happy about your latest intel. We traveled halfway across the damn universe looking for some ship named Caitlin, and what do we find? Just some hauler going about their business, absolutely nothing of value in the hold named Caitlin. You illiterate fool. You did it again. So and now it's gone. I do want to see what happens when we interact with this Galbang ship.
Keep your distance. Acts of aggression will be met in kind.
What can you tell me about Galbank?
Nothing. Now stop wasting my time.
Oh, man. Heard anything interesting?
Is this some kind of distraction? It's not going to work.
Man. Alright, let's save. I want to try something. Uh-oh. I seem to have pissed off Sarah Morgan.
Look, we really need to talk.
Alright, let's check out their engines. Yeah, she is not on board with this. I guess just destroy it. There we go, I can dock. Oh, wow! Thank you, Night Spearhead. That's amazing. I really appreciate it. I believe me, I am going back. I am not keeping this, but I want to see what happens when you do dock, when you do attack and dock with the Galbank ship. All right, let's see. I am always out of ammunition, but I do have plenty of ammunition for this gun that stuns, which actually has come in handy in multiple occasions because it's much easier to stun stuff than it is to kill it a lot of the time. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh. Nope. Those ladders are just impenetrable. There, stunned. Okay. Oh, what the hell? Why did you just catch fire? what caused you to catch fire and wake up? Whenever you stop at a major settlement, buy ammo. Yeah. No, I absolutely should, but I always forget. Let's see. Okay, nothing in here. I'm so used to just being able to find all the ammo I need. Is that? No. I was looking for the hold of the ship to see like what it's got on board. My assumption would be a lot of credits. A lot of cred sticks, I mean, but let's see. Yeah, I've got plenty of ammunition for guns I'm not carrying is the main problem. Okay, here we go. Captain's down. I wonder what would happen if I commandeered this ship, turned it into my own, and just flew it back to a safe port. She should have just had a friendlier conversation with me. 8,400 credits? That's it? This is like an armored transport, and all it has is 84... Okay, there we go. 12,794. Even so, that's only 20,000 credits for this entire ship. That's kind of ridiculous. There should definitely be more than that. Oh, well. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to sell you death sticks. Oh, yeah. See, the problem I have is I have not even really properly put points into weapons. Yeah, can't find ammo for a gun thousands of years old. Crazy to think that by this point in history, there will be guns that are like 800 years old. But yeah, so let me open my perks up real quick so you can see what I've been doing here. Yeah, it was a pretty small ship, and honestly, with it being a Galbeg transport, I would expect there to have been a lot more cash. Okay, so in physical, I've managed to invest 4 points into weightlifting because I hate being over-encumbered. I really need to put a point in stealth at some point. I've had to do it for quests. Like, I've had to cheat myself into that so that I could actually see whether or not I'm visible for when I'm filming stuff. Along with that, I've also cheated and put a point into theft before so I could pickpocket the key to the reactor console from, Kazemi. And then I have invested a lot of points here into persuasion, 1 point into gastronomy because I wanted to do some cooking. I've put 2 points into laser weapons and a single point into ballistics. So you can see how much I value my combat skills. So much, right? Now, science and technology is where I've basically been putting all my points. I've put a couple points here into astrodynamics, a point into geology, 1 to medicine, 1 to research, 4 into surveying, 4 into scanning, a couple into botany and zoology, 3 into astrophysics, 2 into outpost engineering, and 1 into planetary habitation. That's because and 1 into chemistry. My main goal has been surveying. So I've absolutely been putting points into stuff that is necessary for that purpose. Along with that, I've also upgraded my piloting to level 4 so I can fly Class C ships, because that was really frustrating when I would capture a ship and wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Which, by the way, they've got to increase the value of ships. Because when you capture a Class C ship and you fly it back and they want to give you like 18,000 creds for it, this is a ship that would have cost you 350 to 400,000 credits to build this thing, and they're willing to offer you 15 to 20,000 credits for it? No, that's ridiculous. Secure. Now I know I could invest some points over into bartering or commerce here. Even so, that is ridiculous. I don't know if there's a limit to how many ships you can own. I currently own 4. Let's see though. So yeah, boost pack training, I put 1 point in there because otherwise you can't use boost packs. Security, I've got that to level 3 because that's the level you have to open master locks. Energy weapon systems and shield systems, I've put some points into both of those because I was having trouble in combat. And I've been lately putting a bunch of points into starship design because I've been actually having a pretty good amount of fun with that system. It's not obvious with the ship I'm currently flying right now. It looks a lot like the normal Frontier. Obviously there's an extra engine here on the back because I put that on when I increased the cargo load for this thing. This actually has been upgraded multiple times. Let me see if I can open up. There it is. Okay. So specifically, it has a larger hab in here, which I didn't realize that when I put that hab in there, it would actually move around all the neat stuff that was in the original ship. And there's definitely problems with shipbuilding. If you're not aware, you cannot see the interiors of these things when you're putting them together. I put together this massive ship. Cost me 300,000 credits. I was really happy with the way it looked. And then I get inside and nothing is connected properly. It's really annoying. I've upgraded the missiles, the ballistics, the laser weapons, the fuel tanks, the shields. Everything's been upgraded on this thing that can be upgraded. It's got the top of the line engines, at least for Starship Design 3. And so this has actually been a pretty good ship for me. Along with that, I have this UC prison shuttle that I upgraded. You get this early on in the Crimson Fleet quest line. And I have upgraded this thing to add a single weapon to it, add shields to it because it didn't come with shields with it before. And then it also has better engines than the original ship has. Along with that, I have this pirate ship that I captured. And then it looks like crap right now because I was trying to get the next level of Starship Design. And it was like, you got to add more custom modules to this thing. So I was like, fine. So you can see I've got random cargo things strapped onto the side of stuff. This is easily like my most valuable ship, I would think, at least. At very least it's a Class B. What is my... Yeah, my Frontier is a Class A, I guess. Anyway, and then along with that I have the Space Raven, which I captured, which I have no plans for other than to use it as just a spot to build a ship. So basically what I do, anytime I'm like trying to try out building a ship, what I do is I delete everything here and I start building a brand new ship. But yeah, currently these are the 4 ships that I have on hand. I actually really like the prison shuttle one because it's got some character to the interior of it. But anyway. Yeah, my main problem right now has been that I do not have enough skill points to invest into everything that I can invest skill points into. You can see every time the the little glimmer goes around. And the main problem there is that for the past 2 weeks, whenever I wasn't making lore videos, I was improving my survey data. And improving my survey data does not give me any experience in game. So while I was going through and typing up all the different animals and plants that I found on Delta Pavonis 3, or not 3, whatever one it is in here that has them. Curie, I think is... No? Is it? Magnar. Magnar is the one with all the plants and animals. Whenever I'm going through and typing that stuff up, I don't get any experience for that. So I'm constantly going places, seeing things, doing things, fulfilling the requirements of these traits, but I'm not getting any points to put into them. But that has luckily started to get fixed as I've been actually surveying new systems and planets and things like that. So if I haven't said it before, I think I've mentioned it. I'm going to be doing a lore video on what's happening here in the Tau Ceti system. I said it at the end of my last lore video. And then along with that, the one in the Narian system. The Narian system one, though, I still feel like I need to know more. I don't know. Maybe I've got enough to talk about the specific site on Crete. On that the Crete Research Lab, where they had the Terramorph break out and try to kill people when they were trying to fix it with the neural control module. I don't know, because the thing is, they talk about all these different animals that they wanted to try to use in the Xeno warfare effort, and I found one of them, the Ashta. You find them on Aquila. But they also talk about, and then they also talk about these arthropods that live on Crete itself, and I found those, obviously. But they talk about these spiders that cocooned people, and I want to find these spiders before I talk about this Xeno warfare program, because I want to be able to show an image of this spider. One other thing to talk about is, okay, so last time we went over how you go through the museum, and they talk about how ever since the Narian War, both the UC and the FC have been allowed to have 3 systems each. This is, again, I said last time, it's really dumb, and it's even dumber when you consider what systems each one of them control. So let's go over what it is that the Freestar Collective controls. Freestar Collective controls Cheyenne. Let's go to the Cheyenne system and see what we have there. We have this nice sizable system, multiple gas giants, an ice giant. We've got a bunch of different little orbs we can land on. I haven't fully scanned everything here. in the Cheyenne system, but you have this planet that has a lot of life on it. So, I mean, we're talking about some great stuff here. This is an excellent system to have as one of your systems if you're going to have 3 systems, right? Now, they also have the Voli, and I don't know if this is Voli, how to pronounce this. I've pronounced it 2 different ways in 2 different lore videos. But they've got Voli Alpha, which is this ocean planet where they have neon. And so it's like, you know, they've also got this one over here. Why don't we see if we can I scan this thing from this distance? No, I can't. I do have the ability to scan from a significant distance, but I guess not this far away. But regardless, again, we've got another system here where you've got a gas giant. You've got multiple planets you can land on. That is interesting. I want to know what that's all about, but I'm not going to go there because I feel like that'd probably be pretty spoilery. Regardless, again, so Voli and Cheyenne, and now along with that, they have the Narian system. And, I mean, we were just looking at this. There are, I think, 3 planets with, 3 planets with life in the Narian system. Crete, Nera, and Sumadi. Okay, so 2 gas giants, more planets, and again, 3 planets with life. That right there is what the Freestar Collective controls. Narian, Cheyenne, and Voli. Now let's look at what the UC controls. Alpha Centauri. Not a bad system at all. You got 2 planets with life. You got Gagarin and Jemison. And then along with that, you got a gas giant. You got a bunch of little moons here. You got all kinds of stuff. Not a bad system at all. Let's go to their other system. The Sol system. Now, if Earth was still a thing, this would be great. But right now, all they have is Mars, which, great, it's humanity's first real stepping stone into the stars, but at the same time, it's a lifeless, barren rock. And then along with that, yeah, we've got some gas giants and some ice giants and the moons and stuff like that. But again, there's no life anywhere in this system. Again, so it's kind of a mixed bag, because you do have a lot of planets, but not really anything that's livable. Now, let's go to the last system that the UC claims is one of their 3 systems, Wolf. This is without a doubt the worst 3rd system they could have possibly claimed. Now, I'm sure that there's some story stuff here that I have not yet experienced, but they have a single gas giant, a single planet, and a moon. And that's it. Why on earth would you choose this to be your 3rd system? They've also got the ruins of Etheria, and this is, I think, the old Wolf Den or something like that. The Den is an interesting station. I'm sure there's a story on that I could tell. I'm going to look into that more, but again, we just went over it. Freestar Collective, 3 great systems. United Colonies, Alpha Centauri, great. Sol, so-so. And then Wolf. It's like, what on earth was the thought process involved with making this one of your primary systems? If you can only have 3, why this? Anyway, I think I'm belaboring the point there. But, anyway. I've really enjoyed the Crix system. I'm not going to talk about it too much, because it is specific. There is spoilery lore here related to the Crimson Fleet. I think that's enough of a spoiler in itself. But I definitely want to investigate this system more. Suvorov here and all of its little moons. I think it's all pretty interesting stuff there. It's interesting that you get past a certain point and there are no more named systems showing up on the map. Ixal shows up, but nothing else does. Looks like some life that unlikely. Interesting. I don't know. That looks pretty likely to have life on it to me. The Elios Retreat. There is so much stuff in this game. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. And again, I've scanned something like 100 planets in my time surveying all of these western end of the system of the... this is not the galaxy. That's the other thing too. I don't know what to call this exactly, because I think the settled systems is what you would call this. But at the same time, I feel like the settled systems is specifically the names for those systems that have been settled by the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies. Also, potentially the stars that have been settled by the Varun. Whatever the what's it called? House of Varun. The ones that have been settled by House Varun as well. I want to learn a lot more about House Varun. I do not know enough about them at all. The McClure system, is this Troy McClure? Let's see. Okay, we got planet that looks like it has life. A couple of moons. Well, 3. Man, I would love it if there was some sort of Phil Hartman Easter egg in the McClure system. I don't know. I will say that I have found very few Easter eggs. I will say that I've been listening to the soundtrack whenever I've been working on making lore video scripts, and I definitely have been hearing the like the opening Star Trek theme in one of the songs. Let me see if I can remember which song it is specifically. Let's see here. Is it... what was it? The Last Explorers, I think, is what it was. Something like that. I'm pretty sure I hear like the first few tones of the Star Trek theme in that, which would be pretty great if Inanzur put that in there. Let's see, what else is there to talk about here? I'm going to try to figure out the best... One of the reasons I'm doing all this surveying is I want to find the best planets to settle. Because at some point I want to have a complete supply chain that provides me with every single resource. Oh, there's something about the ECS constant I forgot to talk about. But I still need to investigate the what's it called? The outpost system more. Because I've only founded these little tiny outposts that mainly just collect material and ship them. Yeah, you're a doctor, not a space pirate. But I think basically what you have to do with these things, and you have to set up like daisy chains. Because back in Fallout 4, when you were setting up connections between outposts, not between outposts, but between workshops, what you could do is you could just send caravans, and you could set up like basically a hub. And I would always do that with Hangman Alley. That was always my favorite settlement. So Hangman Alley would have caravans that run to every other outpost, every other workshop in the entirety of the Commonwealth. I don't think you can do that here in Starfield. I think what you have to do is you have to daisy chain things. So if we let's just quickly go to not the Erdani system. Let's go to my Tau Ceti system colony here. This is where we went last time. I've updated it very slightly since then. I have not been to prison yet. At some point I should commit a crime just to go to prison to see what it's like.
I used to keep my suit walks short until I learned you can go to the bathroom in these things.
Her lips were not moving when she said that. Okay. And again, I know this little colony here is fairly pathetic. I've had some problems building. Why don't I show you something specific here about that? I don't know if I've actually got enough stuff. Yeah, I got plenty of stuff right now. Okay, let me just show you real quick here. Okay, so let's say that I want to add onto this base. Whenever I go to the end of a hallway, okay, that one works. But when I go to the end of the hallway over here, it's like, oh, no, no, no. You can't do that. That hallway would intersect with that room you want to build. It's like, yes, that's the point. I'm trying to add a room onto my base. That's why I ended up building out multiple hallways here. For some reason, it's fine connecting there. I don't know what it is about this area that it doesn't want to connect. I don't know if anybody else has been having that problem, but I definitely have. Okay, so again, the daisy chaining, though. You can see here that I've got this shuttle bringing in supplies, specifically in this case from the Altair system, where it's bringing in... sorry about that. About your phone dying. So, this ship's bringing in aluminum and helium-3 from Altair, I think. Regardless. I've got a second... Whoa, Sarah. I've got a second pad set up over here, because as far as I can tell, these things are point-to-point. And I don't think I've even actually... Have I instigated this one over here? By the way, the amount of materials these things take is ridiculously low compared to, like, this pad that's built out of, like, 1,000 tons of concrete. I don't know exactly how much this is, but it's a lot. Okay. This I could set up... I think I actually... Yeah, I think this... Is this set up? No, I don't think it is yet. Okay, well, we can see if the ship will now come in from Cassiopeia, bringing in some cobalt and some nickel. I don't know. But regardless... Is that already it? If that's already it, that's impressive. It was just waiting. I'm pretty sure these things are point-to-point, which is to say that having built one here and built one on Altair, these two are connected. I can't then also then connect this one to the one on Cassiopeia, which is frustrating because if it's only point to point and you can only build 3 of these pads per outpost, that means you can only connect each one of these outposts to 3 other outposts. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is like daisy chaining things. So what that means I'll do is that I'll eventually, and I have not picked my planet yet to build my final outpost on, but and that's part of what I'm surveying for, is what I'll end up doing is like Eridani will then ship supplies to something here in Captain Star, which will then ship supplies to Sirius, and then we'll ship to Barnard Star, which will then ship up to here to Andromas, and then like finally whenever it gets to my outpost, there's a single ship coming in, or maybe even 3 ships coming in, bringing in all the supplies I need, coming in from this web of colonies, so that I can still have the hub model, but it's unfortunately just not bringing everything in from everywhere all at once. I would say one of the good places... Tau Ceti is a nice system. It was the first system that I explored fully. Alpha Andraste 3 seems to me to be an excellent planet to settle. Why don't we just go to my landing pad here? Okay, I can't fast travel while just falling or jumping. There we go. I'm looking for a planet with breathable air is the main problem, and I don't think Tau Ceti has that. Tau Ceti, unless Tau Ceti 2 does? Thin O2? I can't remember if you can breathe here or not. We can land real quick and find out. I'm sure I have it documented somewhere, but this is probably quicker than me searching my files for it real quick. At least on the PC. I've heard loading times can be annoying on Xbox.
Now this planet, this is more my speed.
Oh, breathable air.
Oh, I could hike here for a while.
I do like that her voice was coming through the mic right there. So yeah, this wouldn't be the worst place to set up a colony. But I think my favorite planet so far... I keep trying to zoom out further by pressing tab without realizing I'm at the furthest zoom out. Okay, so Alpha Andraste 3 is an excellent planet. And if it weren't as far as it is from like the core of the systems, I would consider... okay, it's pretty quick for loading on the Xbox. Okay. Starfield playlist. Space Camp. I do not have a Starfield playlist. Unfortunately, what happens when you film your games, when you're trying to make videos, is you really can't be playing music while you're playing the game. Because if you're recording, then the audio is going to be screwed up. So this is my idea for the sort of place I would love to build my final outpost on. Now, it does have some nasty wildlife on it. Those pack lion bears, I was talking about them earlier. They are spitting images of the Ashta that you can find. Oh, and then those things, I hate those things. Those pack longhorns. Anytime, well, first of all, they say they're defensive. I don't believe that. The temperament is not defensive. Those things have come after me multiple times when I've been significantly far away from them. Temperament of territorial is always something to worry about. Temperament of fearless, absolutely something to worry about. Green Earth-like worlds, yeah. Again, this one's pretty good. We got this tropical forest here. This is also on the coast. There's actually a beach over there. But along with that, why don't we go ahead and... There's multiple biomes here. Let's see, that's a coniferous forest. Let's go land there. Okay. Alright. Yeah. It would be pretty cool if you could set up like shrimping operations on planets with like galactic bronze. So yeah, this probably would not be where I would settle if I were to settle on this planet permanently. I don't really like the fact that the coniferous forest here is orange, but upgrading your pilot skill. Let's see. That's in your skill and your tech, piloting. Okay, so you have to blow up ships, I believe, is the way you get these things leveled up. So I think you have to like shoot down a ship once you get rank 1, and then 10, and then 20, and then something like that, in order to upgrade your piloting skill. Why don't we see this real quick? Man, I got some new coffee pods today. And I tried the pumpkin spice one, and I cannot, like, say I'm not particularly a fan. Let's see. It's making it a little hard to speak. Can you be a mod? Yeah, I don't think there's enough really to going on there to mod, but I can probably make you a mod in there. Let's see. Deciduous forest. What's this? Xenon. Not a bad thing to find. Yeah, this isn't bad. This wouldn't be the worst place to set up a colony. Again, these freaking back longhorns. I hate these things. They've attacked me so many times and they're venomous. So they leave you poisoned. Along with that, let's see. There was another world I found. I think is it in Beta Andraste? Perhaps. It could well be that pumpkin spice is my kryptonite. Beta Andraste over here. There we go. Let's see here. I think it's... Yes, Beta Andraste 1A. Which, let's go ahead and land real quick. I am fairly well familiar with the systems at the western end of... Let's just call it the Orion Spur. Okay, because that's where the Sol system is supposed to be.
Another suit walk, eh? Good.
Now,
let's have some fun.
Unfortunately, this is not the one I was actually thinking about. But this one is interesting because all the creatures here are flying creatures. And along with that, it's got swarming whale sharks. These things do not look to me like they would be able to fly. But... yeah. There you go. No, this isn't what I was actually intending to go to. Sorry, 1 second. Trying to... Was it in the Alpha Andraste system? It was sometime around when I was surveying this. Is it Alpha Andraste 2, maybe? I think it is Alpha Andraste 2. Let's see. Where... Is this the craters area? I think it was in the craters area. And I could be completely misremembering this. Let's check. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of the most interesting things to me, is that most times you land in a craters area, it looks like you're on the moon. Here, though, on Alpha Andraste 2, I think that's where we are. Yes, Alpha Andraste 2. This is the craters biome. Now, keep in mind, air here is not breathable. It's also very hot, 53 degrees. And there's no plants here to scan at all. Or not, yeah, there are here. Never mind. There are plants to scan here, but it's just like, this is the craters biome? This is not what I would expect to find in a craters biome anywhere. But again, yeah, this is what you find here on Alpha Andraste 2. Doomy box. Must be terraformed. I do hope that they add terraforming at some point. Like, again, they could already have it. I have not progressed in the storyline at all, so I could be just like way off here, and they could already have it. But regardless, I do think it would be kind of cool if they would introduce some sort of terraforming mechanic. Not something where you can take like an ice ball and turn it into a lush garden world, but if you have a world like this where it seems like it's primed for life. You can terraform it into something where it's got breathable oxygen at the very least. Planet looks like the Commonwealth. Let's see. Other interesting planets that I found. Let's see. What else there? Piazzi. Piazzi is, no, This one did have an interesting planet in it, I think. Is it? Yeah, 3C. Or sorry, 4C. As, the planet with life here. Let's take a look at what we got here. Freezing vapor. So, okay, yeah, this is one of the interesting things I've found as well. There are plants called cage brains. I've found this on multiple planets before. And along with that, they have one of the cage brain animal species, if I can find them. I think that's one of them. No, that's a plant. Where Where is the cage brain animal species?
Calibrated that thing.
I shouldn't have Sarah Morgan with me. I've already completely maxed out my affinity with her. I brought her out in order to look at, what the heck? Yeah, I've scanned those things already. I don't know why it does that sometimes. You come back and it'll be like, oh, you can scan this thing again. Okay, so hunting cage brain. I'm just going to show you something real interesting here in terms of how they did the whole procedural generation. So right here we have this hostile creature called a hunting cage brain. It has the unfortunate temperament of fearless, and it has the resource of antimicrobial. Okay, so keep that in mind. That creature you just saw. First of all, let me again note that this creature that's called a hunting cage brain is also found on a planet that has these plants that are also called cage brains. So I don't know if there's supposed to be some sort of weird continuity thing there, where like the cage brain plant is like the larval stage of these things. Sarah is great, but like I need to be leveling my affinity with other characters. Okay, so again we'll leave behind those cage brains, and let's go to Tau Ceti 8B. Let's go ahead and land. Where exactly? Right here, the mining outpost area. Okay. There we go. Herding cage brain herbivores. These ones are non-hostile, but they're the exact same model. These ones are skittish, and they provide sealant. And this is, again, probably not that many people have experienced this sort of thing, because I've only found these things on 2, maybe 3 planets total. But when you're surveying all the planets, as I'm attempting to do, you're going to come across this stuff a lot more than other people do. I feel like I showed it off last time, the fact that there are really freaky creatures here. 1 second, let me... Do I have that thing on my local map? No, I've not been there yet, apparently. I don't know. Okay, again, I need to renew my call for Bethesda to add ground vehicles into Starfield. At the very least, like a speeder bike, or if they could give us like the something with a mobility equivalent of the hover tank from Mass Effect 2's Overlord DLC. Or no, it was used in Overlord. It was from something else. Yeah, so you wish there was more gobs and fewer standard names, and then Night Spearhead. Focusing more on quests. So, in terms of quests, I can show you real quick what I have done. Missions, I guess is what they're called here. I've done 3 missions for the Crimson Fleet. Along with that, I've met my family. Escape from the Endless... Oh yeah, the ECS Constant, Ground Pounder. First Contact, this is the mission that is the center of my next lore video. I've completed everything with Sarah Morgan. And then I have helped the Freestar Collective to solve a bank job gone wrong. And what's this one again? Again, that's more Sarah Morgan stuff. That's more Crimson Fleet stuff. Oh yeah, I found this Ryujin botanist that was just hanging out here on this planet, I think, actually. Sickbed, I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, and you can see right here, I've done 3 total missions for Constellation. If you're talking about this gun, I've absolutely gotten this gun from my parents. Okay, these things are the worst things ever. At least this is my experience with them. I hate these things. That ability, heals very rapidly, is the most dangerous one they can have. And along with that, these things are fearless. Okay, so now that I'm a higher level, this is obviously not as big an issue. I was here when I was like level 5 or something like that, and these things were just killing me. Let me go up to this farm up here. Sorry, 1 second, got a text. 1 second. Yeah, I really enjoy Sir Livingston's pistol. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay. Right up here we have this abandoned farm. I have very nearly cleared this thing out before. It's full of these hunting crickets. Look how quickly that health regenerates. Again, now that I'm a higher level, it's not as much of an issue. Jeez Louise. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn on these turrets over here. Well, I can just pull this thing out, start hacking while I've got this giant praying mantis about to attack me. Okay, there's that. And then... is that... actually, that doesn't seem to be helping me. That looks pretty good. That should... oh, wait, is this one I'm already using? I don't think so. Was that? No, it was not one I was already using. There we go. Okay. Upgrade the friend-foe settings. Recalibrate. But look how fast that's regenerating. Do you see that? I don't know. Maybe they nerfed that a little bit because these things, I could not get their health down. Along with that, let's see if this is still the case. Last time I was here, there was one of these giant praying mantises inside of this outpost structure. Okay. It seems like it was just a bad spawn that time then. Because... literally... oh, no! Never mind! Let's see. Okay, look at that! Look how fast it's respawning! Do you see this? And this is again with me being 30 levels ahead of it. This is insanity. Where are... do I have any guns where I have any real ammunition with them? Because I know I just expended the last of that other stuff. There we go. This has got some rounds to it. Whoa. Look at that. By the time I go back to reload, I come back from reloading, he's already fully regenerated his health. This is insanity. Oh my good lord. And can you imagine when I was trying to do this at like level 5 and I was literally down to nothing but this shotgun? And I was doing that. And I'm like, okay, I've got 80 more rounds left. Is that going to be enough to take out his 4 lives? There we go. Oh, nope, he's rebuilding. Let's see if I've got something better. Because that is not working. Keel Hauler is actually a pretty dang good weapon. This is something you get from... there we go. Keel Hauler is something you get from what's it called? The Crimson Fleet. Excellent gun. I have not been watching Ashoka. I don't have Disney Plus.
We must do whatever we can to recover the research and avenge the death of these scientists.
Okay, I've never had her say that before because we've... oh, look at that. We've got journals. Okay, we might have a lore video here. We'll see about this. Anyway, though, I think I'm going to end things here now, but if anybody has any questions or anything they want to say, I'll give it another few minutes here just so we can go through that stuff. But after that, I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. So... I'm going to have to look into what all these are. Marie Tikov. Anybody have anything? If not, then I think I'll just say I hope y'all have a good weekend. I'm gonna be trying to get the next lore video out as soon as possible. I've definitely produced more videos this month than I have in a long time. We'll see exactly when I get this next one out. It isn't gonna take forever, but I don't know exactly when it's gonna be. So hopefully by midweek, we'll see. Regardless, though, have a good weekend, y'all, and I will see you all next time. Oh, starting your own faction. Yeah, I'd love to do something like that. I'm hoping that there is something like that already in the game, and if not, that they add it. So, regardless, again, thank you, Knight Spearhead, for the super chat there. I really do appreciate it, and have a good weekend, y'all.